Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Meta Market Weekly. I'm your co-host, Justin, along with Fernando. We're excited to be here. There's a lot going on, as sometimes I can't even keep up with it all. We've also had quite a turn in the market that I don't think a lot of people saw coming. We're going to talk about that and a lot more. Hey, Fernando, how are you doing today? What's up, man?
Hey, Justin, I'm doing great. Thank you for
Good.
asking. Hope you're doing great as well.
Good, man.
Yeah, it's a crazy market, and as usual, we're gonna start by sharing a quick market analysis. Then we're gonna share some news, and yeah, let's start by bringing my trading view profile. So last week, let me get the chart straight. Just a second. Great. So last week, when we recorded our podcast, we were trending around this area, and we actually bounced at this parallel channel, which indicated that probably we were going to continue to go up. However, I remember telling you guys that it would have been better if we kept going downwards because the RSI was still kind of high. We were very close to overbought levels. And as explained before, it is better to be closer to the oversold levels because that way there is more space for the price to continue to grow. So yeah, fortunately we kept going down, and we reached the next parallel channel, which is this one. And as if we take a look at the RSI levels, we are very, very, very close to hit oversold, which right now we're at 34%. Oversold should be at 30%. However, I've noticed that every time this level, the RSI bounce happens a little bit higher. So if I use this line, I would expect it to bounce somewhere around 32%. But yeah, I mean, this is great because pretty much right now you're being spoon fed the moment to purchase right now if you want to make some quick gains. So if we take a look at the past, every time we reach oversold levels, then we have a bounce. The bounce is not immediate. I mean, it'll take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it takes. But always, 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 once we reach oversold levels, then we eventually get to overbought. So in this case, this was in November, we hit oversold, and then by January we got to overbought level, and you could have made good money. Then in March we got to oversold, and then we got to overbought, and if you would have sold, you would have made good money. So right now, like I said again, we're very close to reach the oversold level. I mean, we might get there today. Actually, if we take a look at this parallel channel, we're very close to reaching the resistance. We could go a little bit lower. Maybe I was thinking around 25K, but either way, this is a perfect level to buy. And everything's looking very healthy. I don't really think I drew this red line as a black swan event possibility, which, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna have a black swan event, but I want to talk about it real quick. So last Friday, I saw an article. Let me see what's going on because my computer is kind of slow. Maybe refresh this. Okay, there we go. So JP Morgan was suggesting to the government to ban short selling of stocks. So the reason why he suggested this is because it is very likely that a lot of stocks, and especially banking stocks, are going to continue to go down. I'm sure you've seen right now that a lot of banks are having daily losses of 20-30%, like very, very high.
Yeah.
You've seen this, right?
I have, yeah, every day almost.
Every day. So pretty much since it's pretty much obvious that they're going to continue to go down, people are starting to short the bank stocks. And if you know what you're doing, there's an opportunity to make a lot of money. So pretty much what JP Morgan is suggesting is to ban this so that these people that know what they're doing don't make a lot of money. And in essence, the game is rigged. You know, they don't want you to make money while they continue to bail out banks and they continue to make profits and all that. So this could be a major black swan event, because the last time something like this happened was in 2008. The US regulators banned the short selling of financial stocks, fearing that the price was helping to drive the steep drop in stock prices during the crisis. So if we do get the ban of short selling, it can only mean something, that the people all the way to the top already know that something very bad is going to happen, and that's why they want to ban it, so they don't you know, the smart people don't make profits and they don't have to pay them. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. You know how it is right now. I feel like this year 2023 is a year of major changing events, and we're seeing it all over the world. You know, the energy is very different. You know, we have major banks falling. We have a lot of crazy stuff going on, and it's just a wild year. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's very wild, to be honest. I don't know if we were going to have a black swan event or if it's going to correct, but I know this year is going to be a year of a lot of changes. And it's not all bad. It's not all bad. I mean, if we do have the black swan event, yeah, then it is, but it's not all bad. Which brings me to my next news. Well, it's not a news. I just wanted to point out that CPI just came out on Wednesday, and it was lower than expected. The price of goods keeps moving down from its all-time high of 8.8% in July of 2022. So, I mean, this is good. I mean, it is not great because we're not at the optimal levels, which should be somewhere around 2%, but it is gradually going down. So like I said, it is not all bad news. You know, when these numbers start to go down, it is good for the stock market. It is good for crypto, and not just the CPI. Also, the interest rates have been they're increasing, but they're increasing at lower levels. So I mean, it is not great, but it is good. It is good for the cryptocurrency market. It is good for the economy. Hopefully, the interest rates will start decreasing in the coming months. And yeah, it's not all that bad. Which brings me to the next news that I wanted to share with you guys, which is the Florida governor officially bans CBDCs in the state. So Ron DeSantis, which is the governor, has finally banned CBDCs in the state of Florida. And yeah, I mean, this is great. I mean, it is great that finally one state is doing something against the CBDCs, and there's I'm sure other states are gonna follow, like South Dakota, even Texas. I actually have an interesting article on Texas that I want to show to you next. But I believe you told me you wanted to talk about something happening with the CBDCs, right? I think there's a currency that they want to launch called FedNow, something like that.
Well, I think a lot of people have heard about FedNow. FedNow is this new payment system that the Federal Reserve has put together that's starting July 1st. It's currently in pilot right now. The actual system itself isn't blockchain. It is a typical centralized banking system. But basically what they've done is they've basically created a system that is an instant payment system. So between bank to bank, now payments can be instant 24 hours a day. So that means that if you send a wire or an ACH transfer or something like that, then that money will be available immediately, instantaneously. Now if you send a wire within the centralized system, depending upon where you're sending it from, et cetera, it can take somewhere between 6 hours all the way up to 48 hours or longer if it's international. So now a lot of people have been saying that this is the precursor to a CBDC. And I agree with that. And I think that this was one of the pieces of evidence that is pointing towards this now is the fact that the Federal Reserve's FedNow system will now connect with the Metal blockchain. So this is not Meta, but it's Metal.
Oh,
no. So basically this says, according to the Federal Reserve's instant payment system, FedNow will be connected to the Metal blockchain. According to the May 11th announcement from Metal blockchain team. I've never heard of this project, but apparently they are going to allow integration to allow Metal users to instantly convert funds to stablecoin and back again using FedNow's send and receive function. So apparently this is a project that is built on the foundation of the Bank Secrecy Act compliance. And it is that has identity verification and anti-money laundering features built in. So I thought that this was really interesting. Additionally, on this chain, a token can be issued with the rule that it can only be used and can only be sent to U.S. citizens and cannot be traded until tomorrow. So this sounds very much like, to me, the beginnings of a CBDC infrastructure.
yeah.
What do you think, Fernando?
Oh, absolutely. And you said several features that they're gonna be instant and all that, and that all sounds really good, but not from the not from the government. Because let me remind you and everyone that if we give this kind of power to the government, they can expire your money. If at any moment they decide like, oh, well, I don't want you saving money, I want you to spend it so we have more income and you pay more taxes. So if you don't pay it, if you don't spend your money right now, we're gonna expire it. They can do that. Or if your political views are not the same, let's remember what happened with COVID. That at the beginning they were pushing, oh, if you don't take the vaccine, you're gonna get fired. You cannot travel or anything. And right now, well, we didn't have any CBDCs, so pretty much, I mean, maybe you would have gotten fired, but I mean, you could still use your money. In the near future, if you don't get the vaccine, they'll be like, oh, you don't get the vaccine? Well, you cannot use your money and you're dead, because we all know that the vaccine is killing people. I mean, it's not a conspiracy anymore. Like major doctors from Harvard and all respected, hospitals and schools have already agreed that the vaccine is deadly and is causing a lot of people to die. So if your political views are not the same as the government, they can kill you, be like, oh, jump off a cliff, or you cannot use your money, so you cannot give that kind of power to the government because they're not good people.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously this is just us hypothesizing, but I mean, this is another piece of evidence that shows it looks pretty much like they're going in that direction. Of course, in this article, they say, oh, the Fed has denied that this system has anything to do with FedNow, but that's the typical government, right? They're not going to tell you in your face that they're doing something until they actually just kind of pass a law and do it. I mean, look at the way that the Federal Reserve Act was passed in 1913. They actually signed it in the middle of the night and voted on it in the middle of the night when everyone was asleep. So
absolutely.
We'll see how this unfolds, but I just think it's important for everybody to keep an eye on this and to just know what's going on with it. It's just very odd that they create this FedNow system out of nowhere, pilot program, etc., and then this Metal blockchain comes along and decides to interlope with it. So anyway, before I move on, I kind of wanted to talk about the market too in terms of the other fundamental things that are going on. I don't know what you think, but I think that also right now we're having some issues that have been difficult with all the blockchain, the Bitcoin network. Ethereum has had this issue for a while, but for everybody who doesn't know, basically recently, I think we talked about it on a couple of podcasts ago, but basically,
Maybe.
there's been some layer 2 protocols that have been basically deployed onto the Bitcoin network. For everyone who doesn't know what a layer 2 protocol is it's basically a blockchain on top of a blockchain. So in very untechnical terms, it's a way to basically utilize the underlying main blockchain to do something a little bit different, or apply a different application to the actual ecosystem. And basically what a lot of some projects have done is they've been able to enable the creation of NFTs and smart contracts on Bitcoin network. And in my personal opinion, this is the most horrible idea in a long time. Because what has happened is the transaction gas fee, the cost of a transaction, has skyrocketed on the Bitcoin network, and it's insane. I mean, I went to send a few $100s of Bitcoin the other day, and the fee was like close to $100. So
Yeah,
it's nuts. Now, Ethereum has had this problem for a long time, and I think we've had lots of off-air debates about this, and I think we both agree that, you know, they keep on promising that they're going to fix it with this upgrade, with the Shanghai upgrade, with that upgrade, and it never gets fixed. And that's kind of a continuous problem with Ethereum, but Bitcoin has really not had this issue before.
no, it's had. I remember since 2017, we've had this problem before, but it was not very recurrent because we don't really have smart contracts and, you know, NFTs and all that. But now with these, I mean, it's bad.
Yeah, I just think it's stupid, man. I mean, it's just like, you know, we have different blockchains for different applications. You know, Bitcoin is the OG. It's the store of value. That's what it's supposed to be used for. Like, why do we just need to put these trick ponies on top of it? Why do we need a bunch of more 8-bit JPEGs? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, I think it's because I feel like we the society, the Bitcoin maxis, they glorify Satoshi Nakamoto like he's a kind of god, like he's never wrong and his vision is the best vision in the world. And I mean, I agree that his vision was great to create decentralized money and blockchain and all that is great, but the underlying technology is not the best one, because Bitcoin can only do, I believe, 5 transactions per second. So when we just started with the blockchain and there were only like 1 million, 10 million, 100 million of people using you know, the Bitcoin network, I guess it was fine. But now that we have countries like El Salvador and countries in Africa and, you know, Argentina, and, you know, eventually we're going to have our first billion amount of people using the blockchain doesn't scale. And there's people from the past that made forks of Bitcoin, like Roger Ver, who made the fork of Bitcoin Cash, and Craig Wright, who made the fork of Bitcoin SB, that they saw into the future and that they knew that this was eventually going to be a problem. So, I mean, I don't want to say that Roger Ver or Craig Wright are right, because they're both kind of crazy, you know, especially Craig Wright. Craig Wright is far out, mentally unstable. He's a person full of hate, anger. I used to follow him back in the day, and he was always in Twitter expressing hate and narcissism, and I'm better than you and everyone, and I know better. He's a guy pretending to be Satoshi Nakamoto. He's the most unstable person on Twitter I've ever seen. So I hope he's not right. And then we have Roger Ver, that he's kind of okay, but I think everyone went back on him when he was interviewing like a rookie guy. He went crazy on him. He started saying, I don't remember why he got angry, but I think the guy was calling it Bcash. He was like, no, Bitcoin Cash doesn't like it when you call it that. And he went all crazy, and he went from Bitcoin Jesus to Bitcoin Judas. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just pointing this out because they had suggestions because they saw that in the future there were going to be bottlenecks in the system. So let me go
Sure.
ahead and share. I'm going to share my screen real quick to kind of show you guys what I mean. So I have here an example on Ethereum. So when Ethereum reaches more than 100,000 transactions per day, it bottlenecks the blockchain. This means that transactions get stuck and only the ones that pay more money go through.
Yeah.
So I know, I mean, most people have like $1,000, $10,000 of Ethereum or in crypto, and they're not gonna pay $100 for a transaction fee because that's ridiculous. That's a minimum wage in the United States. So no, and so their transactions are not gonna go through. The transactions that are gonna go through are of the people that have millions of dollars, billions of dollars. So it makes the game rigged. You know, only the people who have millions or billions of dollars are going to be able to use the network without any problem, and the rest are going to have to wait a day, 2 days, 3 days, I don't know, until the network decongests. They can, yeah. So Ethereum is faster than Bitcoin. I think Ethereum can do like 10 transactions per second. Now, if Ethereum is having these issues, Bitcoin is going to have the same issues and worse, you know? Well, I don't know if worse because Ethereum can run smart contracts as well, and Bitcoin can't. They can only use their network for transactions. But like you were saying, now they found out a way to create NFTs on the Bitcoin network, which is called the BRC20 tokens.
Yeah.
Let me this is freezing. Let me scroll up. So a BRC20 token is pretty much a bug. It's not a feature. So some people that are into coding and all that stuff figured out a way to code satoshis. So you get the smallest digit of a fraction of a Bitcoin, which is called a satoshi, and they found a way to inscript an image on the satoshi. So this does not mean that you're allowed to run smart contracts on the Bitcoin network, but however, you can encrypt messages and images on each satoshi. So this is why the Bitcoin network right now is having a very increased number of transactions. And I mean, the network is not being able to support it. And that's why you're seeing, like you were saying that the other day, you had a $100 transaction on Bitcoin, and that's not sustainable. I mean, it's not gonna work if we, I mean, I don't really know how we're gonna fix it, but definitely layer twos are not the solution. And why not? Because layer twos are offline and centralized. So the moment you start using a layer two, it is no longer an immutable, decentralized protocol.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to see. But you know, I also think that, you know, that's why we have seen some amazing advancements in the blockchain technology. You know, I mean, for example, Meta is a fourth generation blockchain, and for example, you know, looking at that Ethereum you know, transaction graph of 700,000 right now, you know, Meta's blockchain could basically process 700,000 transactions in 7 seconds. So
really?
And we can actually scale it higher. We can scale the number of transactions that we can do from 100,000 all the way up to 500,000. So you know, and the same thing with, you know, another project that both you and I are fan of, Phantom. You know, Phantom has that large scale capacity too. So you know, I think that there's a lot of really brilliant minds out there that are looking at these issues. But I definitely agree with you. I think, you know, Bitcoin's the OG, and I think it'll always be the OG. And there's always going to be, you know, a huge advocate, a huge community for Bitcoin. But I don't think it's the coin that takes us into the crypto age where everybody on the planet is using cryptocurrency. I don't think it's going to be,
I mean, maybe it is, but the thing is that we have to stop idolizing Satoshi like he's this perfect being that he was right on the first moment, and we need to, maybe we need to fork the Bitcoin network again and into a new system, a new network, a new protocol that is capable of doing more transactions. Because I know for sure, maybe Bitcoin Cash is a solution. I don't know. I personally, I'm not a developer. I am not a mathematician. I don't know about how these things work, but I do know that, for example, like you said, the Meta One blockchain, if it can run, 700,000 transactions per second, maybe migrate the Bitcoin protocol into something like I think we use graphene, right?
We do use graphene, yeah. And sorry, it would be 700,000 transactions in 7 seconds. So 100,000 transactions a second.
Okay.
But that can be scaled up, so we can go all the way to 500,000. So with the right amount of nodes and the right amount of block producers, we could actually technically process those 700,000 transactions if we had the correct build out of the network, which can be done as we scale. We could actually process those transactions in a second and a half if we actually got to that scalability. So, I don't know. I think that, I'm biased, but I think that Meta One could be one of those projects that could really
absolutely
scalable very, very quickly, and also, has a lot of other amazing features to it. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this is the things we need to think about, because as a community as a whole, we want to see crypto adoption. It's still very, very low, 2% of the population of the planet or less. And if we want to get to 25%, 50%, 75%, we have to have technology that can handle that on a regular. I mean,
we need to evolve.
If 1 billion people, do one transaction every single day on a blockchain network, we have to be able to support that. So,
absolutely, and that's my point. I mean, I'm not saying that Bitcoin is going to fall. I don't think it will, because it already proved that it works. It just needs to be evolved. It needs to be evolved into something that can handle the traffic. And it could be evolved into a graphene blockchain or another. There's a new kind of, it's not a blockchain. I think they're calling it a tree graph, which is a new technology called directed acyclic graph. And this is the technology that cryptocurrencies like Phantom, Hedera Hashgraph, IOTA, what else? Conflux. So this is a new kind of, it's not a blockchain. It's past the blockchain. It's something more evolved. And this is something that can handle a lot of transactions. So definitely, either evolve it into the blockchain that we use, or a DAG or something else. But definitely something must be done. And one thing that I wanted to mention, so for example, the BNB network, the network that is used by Binance, these guys are running, per day 5 million transactions, or at the peak 15 million transactions. And their network, I have never had any issues with their network, or paid more than $1 for a transaction fee on the Binance network. So definitely, Binance network is miles ahead than the Ethereum network. And that is why we decided to release the wrapped version of Meta One on the Binance network. It is great.
Right. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because if we had done it on Ethereum. And well, I mean, I was reading a great Reddit post yesterday, and that person was basically saying right now, the cost of an Ethereum transaction for gas is literally higher than the daily wage for over 50 countries in the world. That's a problem. If someone can't even afford the transaction fee, let alone actually sending some Ethereum or having some Ethereum, I mean, there's a big problem with that. And, that's the thing is, like, for example, it will like, it will give Meta one blockchain, for example, our transaction fees are absolutely nothing. I mean, it's 0.00002 Meta one to send a transaction fee, which right now is like a few cents. It's like 1 or 2 pennies.
Absolutely.
So
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I was gonna tell you that the other day I was gonna trade some shit coins because you know that it got we got to a point where everyone was talking about Pepe coin and everyone was doing a lot of money. So I decided to trade some meme coins, and
Okay.
I got entirely wrecked. I bought like at here and I lost all my money. But
Oh,
there was a point that I wanted to sell, but the transaction fees were so high. I was going to pay, I think, $50 per transaction, that it was just better for me to let my money die, you know?
that's nuts, man. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's a lot of why I question when like some of these project founders, they're like, yeah, let's go with the Ethereum network. And I'm like, why? Because
Exactly.
this is the problem. And we're talking about Bitcoin, okay, so maybe Bitcoin has had this transaction fee issue happen, maybe what, twice, maybe 3 times in the entire existence of Bitcoin. And
Yeah.
Ethereum, I mean, it seems like every few months, it's just like, we'll have a couple of months where things are good and like there'll be regular transaction fees, $5, $6, whatever. And then all of a sudden you go to send some USDT or even Ethereum and you're like, oh, okay, so I can send 100 USDT for $70. This is awesome.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's
So
crazy.
yeah, I mean, I think that as we move on here, I don't know if Ethereum is going to be the go-to place for for projects, and I think that that's why in the
It's not.
future, blockchains like Meta, blockchains like Binance Smart Chain, blockchains like Phantom are going to be more advantageous and more attractive to decentralized apps, other projects, tokens, other applications, because of just the fact that you can pay, what should be paid for a transaction, a few cents. I mean, that's the kind of logic behind our model and our platform, because people are probably thinking, well, this is such a low fee, the blockchain has to pay for itself in some way, we have to have this, that, and the other thing. But the thing is, if you think about it, if you keep this and you become this low cost leader, then as you scale out, when you have 1 billion people or 2 billion people doing, let's say 50 billion transactions a year, then there's a significant amount of transaction fees going on there, versus like in Ethereum, where at least before the fork, right, we had a proof of work model where it was really about all of those miners making a shit ton of money. And I know some of those people who were literally making 6 to 7 figures, doing that. And, yeah, that's cool. But in a practical sense, effectively, to really scale this technology out so that humanity can use it,
Yeah.
it's not going to work.
No,
So
it's not sustainable. And what people seem to forget, blockchain is not just about payment transactions.
yes,
Blockchain is about Web3. So
that's right.
we don't only have to reach Visa and MasterCard levels. We also have to reach Web3 is about streaming, it's about video games, it's about online casinos. So it's not just about banking transactions. It's about a whole, it's about the internet. So everything that happens in the internet, we want to put it on the blockchain. So I mean, we're gonna need at least 50 times more the speed that MasterCard and Visa does, because it's not just about banking. It's like I said, it's about gaming. There are gonna be transactions in gaming. There's gonna be smart cities. There's gonna be things in the medical industry. So we have to build a blockchain that can do at least like I don't know, maybe like 1 billion transactions per day. per day. So I mean, I feel like we're far from that. But right now I think the adoption of blockchain people is like at 3% all over the world. So I mean, yeah, we still got a lot of space, a lot of room to improve. However, right now, I feel like we're falling behind because at least we should have a blockchain that can sustain the 3% of the people that are using blockchain right now. And we're not even there, So hopefully in the coming years, I feel like DAG technology is going to be a front runner in the coming year. I think it's going to be great. Also us, I think we're going to be great also in the space of fast transactions. And yeah, eventually we're going to see how all of this plays out, but definitely have faith in the process. The technology is here to stay. Bitcoin is here to stay. Meta One is here to stay. All these technologies are here to stay, but technologies and companies are not built in a year. It takes a time, it's a process, and we'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And just to comment for people who may be confused and be like, how would that work? How would you be able to use the blockchain for something other than a financial transaction? So basically, a blockchain is just basically in a transaction, it's sending data, and within those data packets, that data can be anything. It can be actual money, or it can be cryptocurrency that's being sent, a certain amount of it. Or it can be a photo, it can be a transaction within a game, it can be a lot of different things. I mean, we're getting to a point where we will have the opportunity to be able to have like a video, like let's say, like think about Netflix, but on a blockchain. And so if you have a Netflix that is on a blockchain and you have to stream a hour-long episode of Last Kingdom, and each one of those bytes of data has to go across the blockchain, you don't want to be on the Ethereum network because
it's
not fast enough. And second of all, it would cost you an arm and a leg to be able to watch that stream. So this is the reason why we're talking about this and why it's really important, because like you said, blockchain is not just about financial transactions. It's about a lot more than that. And we're getting there. And I think there's a lot of incredible minds out there who are going to push us forward, and we'll find that technology. I have hats off to Phantom and their team. I mean, I was at a Quantum Miami last year, or in January, when they revealed their new FVM, their virtual machine. And they're doing a lot of really cool stuff with distributed databases in their blockchain, and figuring out a way to really deal with these throughput issues. And I think it's awesome. So we're going to see how it goes. But yeah,
absolutely, I agree. Interesting times ahead. And I don't know, do you have anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about something practical, something that people can use in their daily lives. We talk about cryptocurrency and blockchain all day on this project, on this platform. But how can you use these things in real life and continue to support the industry in a better way? So this is just a service that I use a lot called BitRefill. BitRefill.com is the name of the site. And this is a really cool website because basically you buy a huge plethora of different gift cards using cryptocurrency. So I can buy Apple gift cards, I can do Amazon, whatever. For example, a couple of weeks ago, my wife wanted a vacuum. I could buy the vacuum at Target. And so I went on here, I used some cryptocurrency to buy a Target gift card, and then I went and bought the vacuum with the Target gift card. So this can be a cool way to do it. I'm also a huge privacy advocate, and I don't like to actually share my information, my private information with anybody online, especially because when you buy stuff in your name with your information, that then they sell it to advertisers, then advertisers try to get you to buy stuff or send you ads and all that craziness. And I don't like that. So this is also a great privacy tool because you're able to basically, I can get a gift card at Amazon and then I can, send it to another name or another address or whatever, not have to share my personal information when I'm buying things. So I just wanted to share this with people. The other thing too, obviously, is the Meta Vault card. We are in pilot, so if you can only have access to this if you're a member of ours. Right now, we're doing a small pilot, but soon enough, it's going to be available to everybody. And that's actually a debit card that you can load cryptocurrency on and spend it in real life. Pretty much anywhere MasterCard is accepted. You can purchase goods and services with this card. So that's a really cool way to be able to use a Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency in general in your real life. And I think that this is, these kinds of things are important because people are looking for ways to be able to support the community and also get away from things like fiat, etc. And this can just be a cool way to use it in your practical everyday life. And it's not some far out idea like NFTs and dApps. So it's something you can go on and use today. And the cool thing with this too is more anonymity with BitRefill is that there's no KYC, there's no anything like that, which I'm always a fan of any service that doesn't require KYC. It's cool. You can set up an account in a couple of seconds and get your gift cards. And this is not an ad. I was not paid to show you this. I just love this site. So that's why I wanted to share that.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think I think that was a great conversation. I really think it's going to be interesting to see what the rest of this year has in store for us. What do you think is going to happen? Any predictions, Fernando?
Any predictions for what?
Just, I don't know, in general in the world, with blockchain and with our financial markets. What do you think what do you see happening in the second half of 2023?
I think 2023 is going to be a year of change. And change is never easy. Change is hard. So we're going to suffer. 2023 is going to be a year of suffering, of change, reflection, improvement. And then I think we're going to jump into 2024 with the right foot. I think 2024 is going to be a year where, we already got out of the dark side and, the beginning of a new age. Also, not just because of crypto, because of AI technology. Right now, AI technology is improving so fast that every month we're seeing upgrades and new technologies, and it's just impressive. So I definitely think, I'm not saying that it's going to be the worst year of them all, 2023, but I think it's going to be a rough year. So far, it's been rough. There's going to be a lot of changes. We're going to fight against CBDCs. We're going to fight against the government, against tyranny. A lot of things are going to happen. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to see the best in people. And in my opinion, things are looking good for next year.
I love that positive outlook. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm really interesting to see, but I agree with you. I think that at the end of the day, humanity is going to win, and that's what's important. Well, we'll end on a high note. Of course, Meta One has really continued its stability as usual. We're at $505.96. I think we hit an all-time high.
Yeah.
It was sometime last month, last week, a week before, it was like around 534. Things have been really good. This is what I love to see, especially in these markets where Bitcoin and Ethereum and the rest of the market are dragging down and Meta is staying really stable. So that's super cool. If you're not a member and you're listening to us for the first time, feel free to check out our project. And any final words before we sign off for the week?
Just to remember to leave a like and comment if you like what you're seeing, and if you have any suggestions, drop them, and I hope to see you here next week.
Yeah, thanks so much, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll speak with you soon. Bye-bye.